Hi, welcome to the knife. My name's the gentleman from Random Thoughts of Rambling Gentleman. You can find me at ramblinggentleman.blogspot.com. And this is my brief cut up and dissection of the pictures that have cropped up recently for the new Arkham City, which is made by Rocksteady, the developers of Arkham Asylum, and will be coming out Q3 2011. Now, they seem to just be random pictures, but if you actually look, it seems that this may just be one section of a game that's been completely finished, developed. A lot of people are just saying these pictures have just been thrown up by Rocksteady to bait fans, but I don't know whether that's entirely the case. So I'm going to have a look at a few of them. The first one here definitely does seem to be going for that baiting of the fans approach. I mean, you got to admit it's rather cool to see Batman walking up on a clown who's graffitiing. It's amusing in a way. But I think the next one's more along that line. It's a bit different though. This one shows Batman, and he's got a new gadget. Now, I'm not 100% sure what that is. It looks almost like the chronographic sequencer from the first game, but as though it's been redeveloped, redesigned. So you have to move it to a new slot, because for one, it was a real pain in the ass, I found, to try and get the thing right if you just could not get that one little section. You didn't know which button you had to pull, and it would take like 3 goes to get it through. It was one of the things that annoyed me about the game, which, aside from that, was a pretty solid hole, I must say. But it could also be an equally different device. It could either be a map to sort of work out where people are using the suicide collars, which made more sense in Arkham. I'm not sure whether they're still going to be used in the Arkham City because there's no real need for them. Although none of these crims seem to have them on in the later pictures. So yeah, that could be anything. Not 100% sure. But Batman still looks awesome in this photo. Batman's swooping down. Like, the cape's back. I didn't mind the cape personally. It was a bit difficult to see around, but it definitely gives a real sense that you're Batman swooping from above to take down some criminals. Explosion. That's one thing that was also again lacking from the first game, was explosions or just some sort of bang. I mean, you beat people up and that was always good, but when you were running around, flying around, there was nothing really bang about the game. It's just a personal observation. But he's swooping down, and it seems to be in the middle of, I don't know, it looks like a sort of building with some nice bay windows on the left there, which I'll come back to in a bit. Now, this one's got a creme dangling from above. I'm not 100% sure where to sit this picture, but I'm going to sit it before I go into the next slot, just because they get down and about. But as you can see below, there's a whole lot of crims down there. I think this is a good thing, having a lot of crims in one place. I know it's going to be a struggle when it comes to the fights, because you're going to have to master those buttons a lot more. I recently went back and replayed the whole game on hard difficulty, and I certainly found that a challenge. The fights, because I was never that good at getting the counters and throwing in the punches. I just could never quite get the timing. But I think it'll be good to have bigger battles, because it'll force you to work it out. And once you do, there's a definite sense of achievement, which I think is kind of lacking in some games. But as well as that, another thing to notice is if you can see up to the far top right, there's that sort of little walkway, which is kind of like from the beginning of Arkham. So it's quite possible that you will be near Arkham, which could be where the Joker was in the original, when you could see out and see the Arkham sign from the original trailer. Anyway, the next pick, Batman on top of the cord. Now, nice clowns again. And you can see the little signs. The red because it's very black, blues, and whites. So the red distinctly in the background along the poster, and the bit on the side, as you can kind of see. They're very distinct, and it really stands out, and it'll be a nice aesthetic. It's kind of like, if anyone's ever played Mirror's Edge, it's kind of like that game, how you had the reds and your whites, and it really stood out against other games of its type, and I think this is what will make this game really just pop. But also another thing is Batman along the wire up there. You can only sort of hang off gargoyles, but you could walk around. But Batman's really going to be completely sneaky. Like, he's got to go the places other people can't. So these wires, while they remind me a lot of Assassin's Creed, I think are a move in the right direction to take the Batman aesthetic to new places. Anyway, so Batman diving out of nowhere to take on some henchmen. I would like to see this as a move. This is in no way going to happen probably, but I would like to see the Bat headbutt incorporated as a central move of the game. Another picture here for Batman, and this is the big group that I was talking about. Because if you look, one guy's got a pole, a guy's got a baseball bat, there's a fire extinguisher, there's a door, there's tons of people, and it's really hectic. And that's something that would be really good if they can bring the level of intensity up in the fights, in the what was their name? Predator challenges. That will really just make the game move. Because there were sometimes when you're just hanging from a gargoyle in the Predator challenges, especially, and you're just waiting for something to happen, and you'll have to wait like 2 minutes for a guard to get into a perfect position. And it was really, really annoying and painful, I found. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so we're in Detective Vision here. Detective Vision, while being very helpful in the game, was something that I just had on constantly. I mean, I kept trying to bring it back and remind myself to try and play the game as it's intended. But it's just too easy, the Detective Vision. And if anything, it seems to have gotten easier, because now you can identify things. I've got no idea what that guard in the back in the orange is holding, but it looks like some sort of projectile launcher. Just the way he's got it mounted up on his shoulder there. It could also be a rifle, I guess, but it's still something that's different from a normal shoot, shoot, shoot gun. You know, bang, 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 bang. I just said shoot, 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 shoot. Yeah. And the other guy's got a knife. Obviously, it could be a machete or a sword, I guess, but it's a big knife, in other words. And you can tell these differences now. So whether that's a good thing for the Detective Vision or a bad thing, I'm not sure. It is possible that Batman will conveniently not bring his batteries for the Detective Vision, and so you'll only be able to use them for a little while. This is another picture of Detective Vision, but I like the way this one's going because you can see things. Now, it's Detective Vision. So in the first game, all that meant was you'd find some evidence and then you'd, walk around with a particular tint on your glasses. This Detective Vision is different. You can look at the bullet, for example. You can see where it would have impacted from. Now, I don't know how this can be used, though, as to what's the point? I mean, you can track down a particular person, but unless these are side missions, which Rocksteady have confirmed will be in there as, some deviants from the main linear path, I don't see any other practical application for this type of thing. So it'll be interesting. Now, moving on to a new locale, Batman is now beating up people in what looks like a nice little ballroom. Oh, and that guy's got a chair. Oh, it's lovely. But it's this sort of ballroom setting with the big windows, and it looks quite nice on the left, and it's all nice and done. But the right is going to darker colours. And the other people who turn up in darker colours are two new friends